Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think you'll have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be
Along
as
the
bright
tower
as
has
the
been missing
sun.
in Savannah.
And as you come around, and it feels so good, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give, something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now I know. Baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give, something's telling me it's right. When you came to me, oh I knew it's you, yeah, boy.
Where is Cody?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? Let's get into this today. Now these want to get up and start being crazy. Oh, you see Papa in there? Is that what it is? He said, I see Papa in the house. Yeah, he would come. So you guys, I came on in. I want to talk to you guys about something. Hold on for just 1 minute. Let me go take care of this real quick. How did he go? Okay, you guys. Hey, I want to say the first three people that came in the building today was Lisa Calhoun, Tina Powers, and Freddie Johnson. Make sure you guys put a 1 in the chat, please. Why don't you? Thank you, Miss Tina. Thank you, Miss Tina. Hey, Sanjay. Lisa Calhoun is. I see Tina, and okay, I see Freddie. I see Freddie up in there. Okay, okay, okay. So I've got you three in there for your tickets. You guys, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Naziah Harris case. I thought I had. Well, I do got some information for you guys. For those of you that's following the Naziah Harris case and wants facts and things of that nature. I did a little bit of looking some stuff up, finding some things, and then I ran into a big old question, a problem, or something that we did not truly go over, and I want you guys to open up your minds and let's get into this conversation. I know we came on a little early, but working and this is a day that I have off. I just kind of want to get in and make sure that we're still covering the Naziah Harris case. I want to say, I don't know. I try to say the name, Emma. I hope I'm saying your name right. Emma Magazine is in the building. That's why I don't hardly say the name. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I don't see you. I do be seeing you been coming in, but I don't know if I'm saying the name right. Emma. See, I know so many people as Emma, Amy, Emma, and they kind of spell it the same way. So they be like, you're saying my name wrong. I'm so sorry. Emma. All right. She said, yep, right. Woke the God is in the building. Samantha's in the building. We got Passion B here. And Casey. Casey's in the building. Lisa Calhoun. Tina Powers. Freddie Johnson. Sanjay. So let's get off into some of the facts, some of the things you guys do not know that I was kind of a little surprised. I want everybody to know every little detailed thing. So there was this one guy, and I guess he started covering the case the other day. And I mean, I'm thinking he actually lives down there in Detroit, and he went to the shop, and then, but for some reason, I don't, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to support this guy because he went down there, got some information, and, I want to hear what he got to say because he's like, he done cracked the case. Now, like I said, I'm not going to put his name out there because, I don't want you to go over there and go, hey, dude, you got a whole bunch of information wrong. But he did. He had a lot of information wrong. And not to throw him under the bus or anything. That's why I'm not going to put his name out there. But, I wanted to chat with him because, I could see that he is a new YouTuber and he's trying to get up off the ground. And, but he just got some information wrong. And I mean, it's horrible that he's got information wrong, but I'm pretty sure he'll catch up, and you can kind of tell when people got information wrong because they got the first information that she was, but it does open your eyes when we know what we know. You know what I'm saying? See, a content creator said that they have proof that Naziah is no longer with us. Well, I don't know about that. That's not what he said. It was a guy, and it wasn't one of the regular guys. It's a new guy. And no, he actually was at the Travelers Inn that's across the street, and he was trying to get information. And I wish I was in his ear and say, hey, dude, you don't go to the Traveler Inn. You need to go over there to the Park Inn. But it made me think about something. It was a woman last night. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. So, because he was at the wrong place. But then I thought, was he at the wrong place? Because, I mean, it opens my mind to think that, his phone pinged that he was back at the shop. And yeah, he could have went to the shop or they could have walked over there to the Traveler's Inn. But is the Traveler Inn out of the equation, completely out of the equation? No, the Traveler's Inn is not completely out the equation. Okay? Because remember when we was like, well, why would he drive from over here on Harper, and go, 5, 6, 7 miles to get to the Park Inn when there's a hotel that's just right across the street? You know what I'm saying? I mean, why? And then some people were saying, well, because he wanted to have a alibi. Well, you could have had an alibi by just going right across the street, right? Because remember, we thought that he was at the Traveler's Inn because it's right across the street. So why did he not go? Because the Traveler Inn, the guy went in there and he said, okay, how much is it if you pay by hour? And the guy said $40. Right. Yeah. Yeah, but he was very known at all these places, to be honest with you. I bet you if you go down there and you go to 2 or 3 other places, then that's what it will be, you know. Exactly. I'm gonna have to delete that. And me sorry, but yeah, I don't want somebody to get in here and then here I am fighting with other YouTubers. Why'd you delete my stuff? And because we shout them out. I don't know what they said, and no, we don't support it because I don't know what they said. Like I just said, I don't know. I don't know what they said on that channel, whoever it was, and I don't want to get into arguments with anybody. And that's why we don't say names. We don't say their title. We don't do that. Anywho's, but you guys should know that already. So, anyways, I want you guys to know something. You wanted to, and this is my dilemma. And please talk to me back. We're not going to be on here as long as we normally be or whatever. We'll try to do our hour, but nevertheless, let's get into it. Okay. So, first of all, the title of this live is Naziah Harris case. Cordell got something to hide. I know, Samantha, but yeah, I know you don't know, but I used to let things go and things of that nature, and then people be like, you said this, and I wasn't even talking about that channel. They get it mixed up, and then they want to say, you lying, SP, you did say something about their channel. No, I wasn't talking about that channel, but somebody could get it wrong and then go run back and tell, because that's what some people do. They go back and they tell a channel holder I was talking about their channel when I don't know what they said in that channel, and I don't even know. Like I said, it was a guy, it wasn't a girl, but they'll make it be a girl. And oh yeah, we've been down that road. She said, I don't think King is involved. Oh, Kelly, let me tell you something. Understood. All right, let me tell you something. So anyway, if you guys do not know, King is in prison right now. Okay. And most of y'all say, yes, we know. Put a 1 in the chat. Yes, we know King is in prison. Okay, I did make some phone calls because I was thinking, okay, it really doesn't say nothing on Otis and it doesn't say a lot of stuff. So why don't I just make the phone call and see what I can find out? Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys that phone call conversation and I won't tell you who I called, but I made some phone calls and I got in there. I got in there. And I got to make some phone calls because people was like, well, what is he charged with? Why is he in jail? Well, he's not in jail. He's in prison. He's not in jail, you guys. He's not down at the county courthouse, and all this other stuff. He is in prison, okay? I think King messed with one of, if not both of them little girls, okay? So, okay, so if you guys already knew that, make sure you put a 1 in the chat because I just want to know where your understanding is at. And my understanding, I didn't have facts of where he was at or what he was being held for. He was around Jarvis. He did the same, allegedly. We don't know. Okay. 1, if you know. 2, if you didn't know, that he is in prison. He is doing time. They would not tell me how much time he is doing, but they could tell me there is no bond. There's no bond because he's in prison. The lady was like talking to me like, girl, you don't understand. He's not in jail. He's in prison. He's going to do time. I said, oh, okay. So tell me what your guys are holding him for because, we need to know if he's get to come home or whatever. So the thing is with King, are you guys ready? If you guys are ready, put a 0 in the chat because then I'll know you're ready to hear what I heard, which is not a lot, but you will know the fact. Okay? That's what I want to know. Do you want to know the fact? Put a 0 in the chat. If you want to know the facts. And then you don't have to sit here when somebody asks, where's King? Why is he here? What's going on? Why did they arrest him? And this, that, and the other. You'll know that it is a fact because I do the facts. I don't we do talk about our theories and our assumptions and things of that nature. But when we know the facts, we put the facts out there. And in that way, when you are on another channel or something, you say, hey, you know what? You can go look it up because SP did. She went and looked it up. So they charged him for nothing more than parole violation. You guys, okay? So you ain't got to sit there and say he's got a new charge or they charged him with something else. It was a parole violation. And remember, King said that he wasn't worried about what he had to say. It was because being contacted by the police while you already on parole, it's a violation. It's a violation going out of town and you did not have permission and being late, coming back, or what time came back. I don't know. But it is a violation of his parole. You guys, okay? So you guys know he was on parole for domestic violation, abuse. It's not abuse, but aggravated assault on a pregnant woman, which when you knew she was pregnant and you still committed the crime, it makes it very severe charges. So he has to do the 5 years. They did not tell me the 5, but that's what he was. The beginning of his charges was the maximum sentence for his charges was 5 years. And I think he had did 1 year because it was back in, I think he did 2 years because it was back in 2019, and then they sentenced him 2021. I don't know if he did that time in 2019 and 2021. That would have been two. So then he's got 3 more years to go. But okay, if you guys look at King's record, King normally makes a plea deal to get out. Okay? King normally takes a plea deal and he gets out. Okay, so anyway. And there was another thing also, like, remember I was telling you guys he had residence in Ypsilanti. So if he was charged in another state or city, county, Wayne County, he can't be residentially living somewhere else in another county. But anyway, nevertheless, that's why I was trying to tell you guys, like maybe the young lady was thinking she was helping him and saying, hey, they all came here and it was a red Jag and he fixed it and they said and Naziah sat next to the TV and she didn't ever want anything to eat and she didn't drink anything and she didn't go to the bathroom. She just sat there and trying to think that maybe she was trying to help King out and then got herself mixed up in this mess. But they definitely going to call the owner of the car and the owner of the house. And that's when you're going to start seeing stuff break down. Okay? So, for one fact, King is in prison only for a violation of his probation. Okay? Nothing more. Okay, we got that out the way, right? King should be under the jailhouse. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you guys, because I did not know this, and I'm so glad to see Woke the God in the building and Passion B in the building and Spicy is in the building. But I stumbled on something when I was going back over King's testimony. Now, I told you guys a fact that everybody else's testimony came in January of this year. And I told you guys, I said King testified in November of 2024. So when we started looking at King's testimony, that was in November of 2024, way before everybody else's testimony. That is because they were going to try, I guess, King. Making sure he say what he said. Okay? Now, do you guys remember me telling you guys King didn't testify in January when everybody else was testifying? King had testified prior in November. Remember I told you guys, I said it was either November or October of 2024. And they didn't tell us that. And we all assumed that they all was testifying within that 3, 4, 5 days, right? In January. No. King testified in October, November. I did say, I don't know what month it was, but it was in 2024. It was either October or November. So anyway, I want to share that with you, but it's something that you need to know. Okay? Because I was told that there was in the January, 2 other girls testified. Right? Remember, you guys? And we didn't know who the other girls was. We did later on find out it was Brooklyn, and we found out it was another young lady, right? 2 other ladies, right? Now, I want to share something with you. November, exactly. When King testified in November, October, whichever one, it was supposed to be one witness testifying, but then there was, guess what? 2 other witnesses testified also. Not the 2 that was in January, but 2 that was previous. You guys? And I want to make sure that means it's like 4. Now, when they're minors or a victim, they don't share it. They don't record it. They can't record it. But when I listened and I was like, so when King testified and they said 2 more victims said this and said that, I'm like, hold on now. Because January ain't got here for the other ones. And I was told that they shut the court down on that particular day and 2 girls testified. Are you guys? Trust me, this is eye-opening. This is eye-opening. I got the video so you guys can see it for yourself. You can hear it for yourself. I just want you to remember, and I will show you the date. If you guys don't believe me, I'll show you the date of this report. Okay? So let me get off in here. Let me just share my screen with you. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to share with you is November the 1st. Can you guys still hear me? I need you to look right here. It says suspect in the Zaire Harris case attend 3 preliminary. You guys see that? You guys got to put a 1 in the chat because I can't see. And I don't want you guys to. Right here. It's November the 1st, 2024. It's okay. So suspect in the Zaire case attends 3 preliminaries. 3. You guys got that? Okay, because see, this is for the people that are a little bit more advanced in the law, a little bit more advanced in understanding what I'm saying. So Cordell Wright, read what it says and understand what it's saying. The suspect in the Zaire Harris case, which is Cordell Wright, attends 3 preliminaries. You guys got that? Okay, I just got to explain it to the ones in the back because y'all saying, well, you know, blah 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 blah, blah. No explain English or no explain. She said, click on it. Okay, Jay, we gonna do it. But I want you guys to look because people fail to November the 1st, 2024. That that is the first thing I tried to explain to you guys. He went to court in November, but he attended 3 preliminaries. So even though it says only one witness took the stand, that's one witness, but there was 2 more victims. That means 3 preliminaries. 3 preliminaries. This is before all the other witnesses that testify, Shannon, Ned, and all them in January. He done already took the stand, and 2 other witnesses had came forward. There's a reason why I'm trying to get you guys to understand. Y'all sitting there go, we heard you, SP, we heard you. No, you're not understanding what I'm saying. There was 2 more witnesses that testified on January the 9th of 2025 also. Now you guys understand? I mean, please let me know. Sanjay said, yeah, we understand. So because, okay. So anyway, let me remove that, but I'm still sharing my screen. It says stop sharing, but I'm gonna share. I wanted to show you that. Okay, now let's get into this. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Let me get on over there. Okay.
In 3 disturbing sexual assault cases involving minors, facing a judge today.
Well, hold on.
But first at 5, facing justice.
All right. Let me
But first at 5, facing justice. A man accused in 3 disturbing sexual assault cases involving minors, facing a judge today. Thank you for joining us this Friday at 5. I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Simon Shaquette. Jarvis Butts is facing a long.
Okay, you guys, check it out. Did she say, pay attention? She said this is back in November already. You guys understand what I'm saying? 3 back in November. So they were looking to see, did King have to do with any of these other 2 women or whatever. But anyway, she said 3 sexual assault. This is back in November. This is not the 2 girls that went to the preliminary in January. So I'm telling y'all, I know other channels are going to get it. They're going to pick it up. You can share with them. I don't care. That's why we put it out. But yeah. These are 2 right here. So let's listen to the whole.
But first at 5, facing justice. A man accused in 3 disturbing sexual assault cases involving minors, facing a judge today. Thank you for joining us this Friday at 5. I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Simon Shaquette. Jarvis Butts is facing a long list of serious charges. We've been closely following one of the cases he's connected to for months.
Back in January, 13-year-old Naziah Harris never returned from school in Detroit. Then in March, a second teenager accused the man who suspected of assaulting and murdering Naziah of sexually assaulting her when she was 4 years old. Butts was first hit with charges in April.
Fast forward to September, and we saw Butts charged.
Okay, did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that this young lady came up in March and said, and this little girl is 13. She said when she was 4, and He told her to take off her clothes and he did some touching or whatever. This is before everybody else came out and said what they wanted to say. I'm just letting you guys hear. Let's listen to the whole thing.
But first at 5, facing justice, a man accused in 3 disturbing sexual assault cases involving minors, facing a judge today. Thank you for joining us this Friday at 5. I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Simon Shaquette. Jarvis Butts is facing a long list of serious charges. We've been closely following one of the cases he's connected to for months.
Back in January, 13-year-old Neziah Harris never returned from school in Detroit. Then in March, a second teenager accused the man who's suspected of assaulting and murdering Neziah of sexually assaulting her when she was 4 years old. Butts was first hit with charges in April.
Fast forward to September, and we saw Butts charged in the murder and sexual assault of Neziah while facing even more charges in a separate case that same month. Sadly, as of today, the body of the 13-year-old has not been found.
7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham was in court today when Butts faced a judge.
The judge heard 3 separate cases today against Jarvis Butts, one of them involving the disappearance of Neziah Harris. Investigators say the other 2 cases involve victims Butts sexually assaulted when they were girls. Jarvis Butts walked into court for not 1, but 3 separate preliminary hearings Friday morning. In the first case, he's accused of having an inappropriate relationship with 13-year-old Neziah Harris. 41-year-old Butts was dating a relative of Neziah. Investigators say he murdered Neziah. Her body has never been found. Her loved ones in court Friday looking on. 22 witnesses are expected to testify. Only 1 witness took the stand in Neziah's case Friday. Cordell Wright says he was a friend and business partner of Butts. He says when Butts was locked up, Butts called him, asking him to remove his phone from his vehicle. It's unclear why. But the defense brought up the idea that Butts, who has 13 children, juggled a lot of women and that he didn't want one of the women to find out about the others.
Did you look for it in the vehicle?
Yeah, I looked for it.
Okay. And you were unsuccessful in finding it?
Yes.
Wright also says Butts referred to Neziah as his niece. In the other 2 cases, Judge Aaliyah Sabri ordered Butts to stand trial on first-degree criminal sexual conduct. We didn't record those alleged victims. One girl, who is currently 13 years old, said Butts molested her when she was just 4 years old. She says he was dating her mother at the time and claims he made her strip down and touched her inappropriately. A 20-year-old woman also took the stand and said the same thing happened to her when she was 8 years old and again when she was 10. Butts had just been released after serving nearly 10 years for sexually assaulting another child.
They were very brave. I commend both of them.
I spoke to Roxy, Neziah's cousin, who's proud of those who came forward after Neziah's case came to light.
Every single woman deserves justice. Every single girl deserves justice.
She's using her voice to be a voice for Neziah, hoping the domino effect will continue.
I just want to say, we know that there's more out there, and I hope that people viewed it, from the comforts of their home, and I hope that it sparks something in every woman and every girl that he has done this to come forward.
Butts' next court date is set for next week in the 2 sexual assault cases. The preliminary hearing for the Neziah Harris case is set to resume January 6th. In Detroit, Darren Cunningham, 7 News Detroit.
Okay, you guys. Tell me. Hey, Monique, how you doing? Disgusting monster. He makes me sick, filthy animal. Yes. So I want you guys to understand what Roxy is saying is true. Come forward, right? Don't be scared. Yeah. So when I was told that there was 2 females that when they were in court in January, I kind of didn't put 2 to 2 together. And I'm thinking, yeah. You talking about previously. And the person was like, no, that day. Well, they didn't call the same females back. That's when they called Brooklyn and another girl. Because we didn't get to see that, but it happened in January. You guys, and I thought that, oh, it's got to be Angel's child or something. But no. It's not Angel's child because they didn't give the girl's name, but they did give where they lived at. So one of the girls is his where he dated his mama. Now, if they're talking about the two same girls that went there in November and then they waited until January, that would be weird to me, saying that if one of the kids was Brooklyn, then why would it take so long for CPS to come and try to take the kids and do this and do that? You know what I'm saying? Because, well, the moms didn't do anything, but if it was Brooklyn, if it was the same kid, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that there is two girls and then there's two more girls? Or do you think the two girls that testified in November is the same two girls that testified in January? That would just be absurd to have them testify again the same thing, shut down the court and listen to the same thing again. You asking the same question over and over and over. I mean, yeah, Jay, we watched it. We all watched the preliminary hearing. We watched it. When you say multiple times, we probably watched that hearing at least 7, 8 times together. Annette got CPS connections. Yeah. Well, yeah. When you say CPS connections, yeah. When you do daycare, yeah, But let me tell you, they're not going to put their job on the line for Annette. Annette, they wish they didn't even know Annette right now. The one in January, the 8th to the 16th, yeah. We watched all of those. But so you guys tell me. So that's the question right now. Is the girls that testified back in November, are they the same girls that testified in January? SP, is it true that Marquita's boyfriend got girl? I'm not worried about Marquita's boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you why, Tina. Because first of all, there's a little girl that's missing, that's presumed to be deceased, right? And Marquita and her, whoever she's having relationships with, is very in importance to me. I'm just telling you how I feel. I heard that, but you know what? I can care less. I mean, I'm not trying to be like mean or rude or anything, but I mean, like it's all good to know, you know what I'm saying? It's all good to know if what's going on, especially the kids get taken. Is Annette still living in the house? Is Annette got a new boyfriend? Is Annette trying to move? Did Marquita get her own place? Here's the thing. The last thing Marquita, you know what? Because here's the thing, and I love you, Tina. You know I do. But we get entangled in people's life being like, it's very important to me. She could be, you know, first of all, let me just put it like this. First of all, you got a child and you don't even have the child with you right now. Last thing she need to be worried about, Marquita or anybody, unless he has something to do with Naziah. And yeah, he did give us some insight and things of that nature. But and I like the guy too. But Jay, you got on there Janiyah. Yeah, yeah. Justice for Zanaya. That's you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's all good. It's all good, you guys. Yeah, to be honest with you, it's all good. It's just, like we're gonna be mad. I know what you're saying. I just wanted to know it wasn't true. No, I hear it is true. I'm gonna answer your question. You know what I'm saying. But like we're just like right now, P. Diddy, they they're at a verdict watch for P. Diddy, you know. And this man, he did a lot of things. And his mother came and she was a witness or whatever. And then, and then his kids, or his daughter and his sons or whatever. And then whatever's going on in their life, you know. It is important. Don't get me wrong, it's important, but I think my problem is, and I'm just gonna be honest, is I don't really care for Shannon as a person, like, I don't wish nothing bad on her, but I think that they need to dig a little deeper. And then when it comes to Marquita, I think they need to dig a little deeper because he had 5 CPS reports on him. They called Shannon. The the family, Janelle and Kiwana, they called CPS and they said his name. And he's known for those things. So they can't say that they didn't know. If someone made allegations like that, whether they found something or not, wouldn't you be a little bit more protective instead of just letting the kids go and clean up an oil shop and letting them pick them up and giving them candy and having them at the birthday party when something already happened? Wouldn't you be a little bit more, Shannon act like, yeah, if I see that would give me a red flag. Girl, you wouldn't know a red flag if they buried you in one. Because if Marquita's daughter is saying this stuff happened and she's going off in the details, you know good and well she told them, grown women, what happened. Why would she tell a stranger or tell a police officer and not tell, yeah mama he touched me, yeah mama he was doing the nasty with Naziah? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I was looking at something and I don't know where it is now. But yeah, I was looking at something. Jay, you got the N and the Z right here mixed up. Jay is Naziah, N-A apostrophe Z. Shannon, all of the red flags were there. Sweetheart, you didn't take none of them down. Exactly. She did not. And and that's something too. Like the people that did make the report, and Shannon was like, "Oh, CPS called me today. They were asking me questions about my kids." And then when CPS get there, knowing that it's an allegation, so when they made these allegations, you guys, they said something about, they said generic. So they told them that, the house was dirty. They told him, wasn't no food in the house. That's what they told him, because they were saying there was no merits, that the house wasn't dirty. There was food in the house. There's no law against putting a lock on your refrigerator. If you want to put a lock on your refrigerator, put a lock on your refrigerator. That way, you might have something in there that you don't want, the kids. Some people you got to do that to. You just don't have free will to, just because you got a refrigerator. And then some people be like, well, SB, it just don't make sense. No, it doesn't. But there's nothing wrong with putting a lock around your refrigerator. But they should have reported that to the people that she was getting kids and adopting kids and fostering kids too, you know. She said, you speaking lies on that baby's name. You speaking lies on that baby's name. Jay, what? Show us again. This is the problem, platforms like yours. Jay, I don't even know what you're talking about. What lie are you talking about? And can you spell her name right? Her name is Naziah. It starts with an N. It's a N-A apostrophe Z-I-Y. So what lie are you talking about? And show you what again? Show us again. Show you what? You know what? Just because you're being rude and very disrespectful, I'm just going to ban you and just get out of here. I don't have to show you nothing. How about that? How about that? See, I don't like to treat people harsh. But first you come in here and you spell her name wrong and you get mad because you spelled her name wrong. And I'm not lying on no baby. I asked a question. You go to somebody else's platform and be rude. Anyway, she said, dang, you beat me to it. Yep. Exactly. You know, people see they come into a platform and they don't know, like, you know, hashtag over here, we don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of here. You go play with somebody else on their platform. If you want to spell her name wrong and throw out stuff that doesn't make sense or whatever, you can go do that however you see fit. But we've been doing this for a very long time, and I ain't got time to go back. I'm not gonna go back and forth with nobody. You're not gonna. My blood pressure is not gonna increase. I'm not gonna lose no sleep. What I say is what I said. There's a reason why I say what I said. You know, I'm not. I don't need a big platform. I just want people to know the facts. She said, I was going to ask you. Look, girl, you didn't have to ask me. I had to think about it first. She's like, you're lying. You know what? I thought about it. It took me a good second. First of all, you know, you don't come to people like that. If you've got a good spirit, trust me, your fruit, it'll show. I ain't got to come on here every other day and lie. Lie for what? What am I going to get? You tell me, what am I going to get to lie? So somebody wanted some attention. And because I just showed them, you know, something, they did not like correction. They didn't like correction. And I wasn't correcting them about their thoughts. I was correcting them about something that was just very evident. Like, you know, you spelled her name wrong. Well, if you cared, you wouldn't have spelled her name wrong. That's just a fact. So they got mad and was like, you're lying on that baby's name. Tell us this. Girl, if you don't get out of here, or boy, or whatever, you know, like, do you go to the store and be like, okay, I went to go get some cereal, but you don't have Captain Crunch, and that's what you used to. You don't go to the store and just be like, well, you lied to us. It's you know, I want some cornflakes. I want some Kellogg's cornflakes. You lie. You need to show us the. No, you don't do that. You know. So they want to know if I'm coming in tonight. Why would I come in tonight? Shoot. You know, you said what? What's in? Oh. So anyway, yeah, they want to know, was I coming in tonight? She didn't say nothing about coming in tonight. Why would I want to come? Shoot, I'll come in Thursday. Hey, anyway. Back to what we were talking about. Yeah, people do that all the time. They create these pages and they normally, let me tell you, let me be honest with you. See, because I'm not no dummy to all of this, okay? They normally is already a channel that done created a name that can come in here without their name and torture the channel holder. So their channel can look great or good. Or like I said, somebody said something about a channel holder in here and they're not even from here, so they would have known. But nevertheless, I let that go and I said, okay. But then, you know, and then you have something else. I was lit up last night on the platform. I'm so glad you are so respectful and kind to everyone. Thank you. And that's what they do. You know, they'll create havoc saying you need to tell us this. Nobody does that. Why? You know what I'm saying? That told me right there that that's just not no average person. That is a channel holder trying to have havoc and be like, Yeah, I was over there and that was happening. While they he little kitty games. You know what I'm saying? And you know what's so sad is like, it takes the attention off of the child. Like they just need to have big numbers. I don't you guys know I don't care to have big numbers. We can have numbers 2, 3, and 4 in here. We still gonna say what we need to say, and we gonna follow it, and we gonna give the attention to Naziah. That's why anytime that most of the time I try to put Naziah's name in the title. You know why? Because I really feel like when we're talking about the case, that's why we do it. We want justice for Naziah. Now, I asked a question, and the question is, do you guys think that the two people that came, and we don't know, but I mean, it just gives us a little bit more insight. If the two people that came November the 1st, would they be the same two people that came January the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th? Whatever day it was that they came, there was two people that came in January 2025. Do you guys think it's the same two girls that was there November the 1st? That's what the question is. That's the question. And like I said, Freddie says, I don't think so. Okay. Okay. That's what that is a question. I don't think so either, Freddie, because why would they call the same witness back months later? You know? Was she 13? She's 13 now. They said she was 4 when it happened, but the girl was 13. But they also gave her address. And her address is not Shannon's and them address. Well, they didn't give her address. They gave the street that she lived on. But I don't know where Marquita lived at. Another 13-year-old had a baby with jaundice. They're different people. I would think they would put those kids through that twice, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they would put them through that twice either. I just don't. Freddie said they are different people. I don't know if they were the same. Would have to go back and check. Well, you can't see them. They're not going to let you see the victims, you know. Eno and Bella says, yeah, I believe they're two different people. That's why JB got another charge. But yeah, because he got another charge because they charged him in April. Okay, and here's the thing, you guys, and I don't know if you guys know this, but King was arrested and went back to prison March of 2024. You guys did know that, right? So remember, they called him in February and they questioned him the day before Valentine's Day, February. And then in March, they arrested him, took him back to jail. I guess you know what I'm saying? Yeah. March. Where did I see that at? March. Oh man, March. Can't remember the date. She said, I didn't know. I don't think they are different. Lisa Calhoun says, I don't think they are different people. You think they're the same? But see, because here's the thing. Wasn't it 2 new charges added? There was 2 new charges added. Yeah, on that day. So it could be the same ones, because if there was 2 more victims, wouldn't there be 2 more preliminaries? Altogether, it's just 3. He went to 3 preliminaries. That's what they said. Anning says, no, I believe these are 2 new young girls. But did they charge him with 2 more? They did say 3 counts. See, the funny thing about this, you guys, we're going to get off of here, but I just want you guys to keep this in your minds. The funny thing about this whole situation is, when this case really started going, it's very weird to have a preliminary way in November, and then it was broadcast on the news and everything. So everybody got to hear what King had to say. But then they don't call the other witness and they stop it. They just stop it, like they just stop. And normally, for what? You stopped it and don't have another preliminary hearing until January? Why? When you had it November the 1st on that Friday, you had it November the 1st on that Friday, and then you talk to the 2 girls, and then you don't have another preliminary again until January. That's crazy. And you guys, you know what? Normally, when you put something on hold, because your preliminaries normally go back to back, back to back, like 2-3 days. Boom, 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 boom. Why would you wait to talk to Shannon, talk to Annette, talk to the police, the forensics? Why would you wait unless something hadn't came in, or unless you was waiting on something else? New charges for essay of another child. If I'm not mistaken, this girl is pregnant too. T, what are you saying? That's the first I've ever heard of that. Nah, this girl ain't pregnant. What are you talking about? T done came in here and done said, oh Lord, done said something about some other girl is pregnant. No. Yeah, that was Brooklyn that said, let us remember that one of the minors that testified was one who said that she's seen Jarvis have said, yeah, you got it. T said, yes, I gotta find it. What are you talking about, T? Nah, that's the first I've ever heard that. I don't even know if anybody ever put that out. Where can you find that at? This girl can't be pregnant. That's okay, woke the guy. We knew what you meant. Uh, I don't know. That's getting kind of weird. I'm not saying that it ain't possible, but that's probably, just like I was saying. I thought this person, this guy, he made a video just yesterday, and he was like, "Yeah, y'all, I cracked the case, and Shannon's going to jail, and blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna listen." And then everything he was saying, I was like, what the heck is he talking about? It was like a whole different case. But he was down there in the Michigan area, and he was like, yeah, you know, yeah, let me see. I was wondering if King was still in jail. Yeah, uh, Annie. But during the conference, they did say there was a certain number of new witnesses as well, and others coming forward. Seems like overwhelming evidence. King is not in jail. King is in prison. I don't know if you heard us at the beginning of this live. I was saying that I checked, and it's a fact. He's not in jail. He's in prison, and there's no bond or anything. He's in prison. It's different being in prison and being in jail, and it's on a parole violation, and that's what he's in there for. So usually when you have a parole violation, whatever the charge was, which it was domestic violence, and it's they convicted him. He pleaded guilty to that, and he has to do 5 years, and I think he's only done 2, so he'll be there for 3 more years. That's when he'll get out, unless they're going to. They said that his parole wasn't, but that's what it is, you guys. Okay. Yeah, that was Marquita's daughter who said that she saw them. And how old is Marquita's daughter? Well, the email said, but I was just making sure I'm making your schedule now for July. What day do you? Oh, she just turned 10. See, so it couldn't be. Okay, T said she just turned 10. So it couldn't be Marquita's daughter. If Marquita's daughter just turned 10, she was 9 when it happened. She's almost 12 now. This little girl is 13. That right there, just let us know. See, I knew if I stayed on here longer, y'all would have. That's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know, was Marquita's daughter, how old was she? Because this little girl is 13. She was 4 when it happened. And so it's definitely two different women. I mean, two different, 4 women, 4 girls. It's definitely 4 girls. Okay. And it may be talking about, you remember the little girl that when she was 4 and she had called, they couldn't bring that back up, or could they? No, no. The little girl had called some kind of uh, STD. Hold on, you guys. Chlamydia, yes, it was chlamydia. I'm sure he left a trail of kids. Some may be devised. That's an old charge. That's an old charge. So they couldn't bring that up. So it can't be that little girl, or could it be? Yeah, he supposedly had did his time for that. With all his past charges, he should have still been locked up. Exactly. Everybody in the evening failed that baby. Yes, life should be the sentence, if not. Okay. Got you, Miss Freddie. I believe CPS took I believe CPS took this last, baby. Oh, you believe CPS took this? Okay, hold on. Unit. Okay. Anyway, you guys. Okay. Okay. I just wish and hope mama would pay attention to who they let around their kids. She would be 13 now, though. Renee SP, have you heard from May? Or Nay? I haven't even tried. I haven't even tried, Jacqueline. Because, people started calling her and harassing her and stuff, you know. And then, let me see here. Anyway, you guys, I've got somebody that I could send you the transcript with her testimony. Caitlin, do that. Do you? Can you send it to my number? Oh, I'm putting the wrong number in there. Can you send it to this number? Caitlin? I got my boss texting me and stuff. So I think we've all became obsessed and sickened by this whole thing. Let's just hope she gets the justice she deserves. Exactly. Okay, you guys. They try to want me to go to work tonight. I'm not going to work tonight. I'm just, oh no. She was like, I think we've all became okay. So you guys, I'm gonna get off of here. Ooh, just got out of that. I wasn't trying to do all of that. Oh. Anyway, I will see you guys next time, and we will get to the bottom of this, especially if she sends me the transcript. And not only that, you guys, you know, it's just now I just got a little bit more good insight because I do think Brooklyn is 10, so it wasn't Brooklyn, so it had to be in two separate girls. But when the girl said it started when she was 4, that could have been like, I think that they can call an old, even if it was an old charge and he did something back then. But I do think it's two separate, it's 4 girls in all. Like, you know, Jacqueline, thank you. All right, you guys, be good, be safe, be nice to each other.